Alright everyone, I decided to do something a little different with this video, and I am going to show you my preferred way to prepare absinthe. So I've been drinking absinthe almost as long as I've been legal to drink. I've had a lot of different varieties, and I've had it in a lot of different bars in a lot of different cities, and with that knowledge I've kind of developed my own way that I like to prepare it. This is not the traditional way, but if you are tired of the usual tourist light show when you go to an absinthe bar where they light the cube on fire and all that, and you just want to drink absinthe, like if you're at home, this is a good way to do it. So what I like to do, we're gonna start with this. So this is a bottle of Lucid that I've obviously had for a while because it's one of the old bottles that has the eyes on it. I don't think they package it like this anymore. I think the newer Lucid, they've gone for a less edgy packaging style. But what we're going to do is I'm going to take my absinthe glass here. You know it's an absinthe glass because it's got absinthe written on it, right? Because, you know, you have to use approved glassware for the Green Fairy. But anyway, what I like to do is I will pour, very carefully, I will pour about 1.5 ounces of absinthe. And then there's a little left in here. Whoops, spilled some. There's a little left in this bottle. So we will we'll finish that off. So it's a little more than 1.5 ounces, but you know, it's probably more like 2 ounces. So now that we've got that in there, we spilled a little, no big deal. You do this enough and you will spill a little. So especially when you're transferring from bottles to shot glasses to whatever. Now, if you were doing this traditionally, you would put the spoon up here. Then you'd take your sugar cube, you'd put it here, and you would have poured the liquor over top the sugar cube, and then you would light the sugar cube on fire, and it's a good show, and everybody has a good time until the tourists actually taste what absinthe tastes like, and they don't like licorice, and so then they realize they just spent like $18 in some bars on something that they don't even like. But it's a learning experience. Anyway, I don't do all of that. I used to back in the early days of my absinthe journey. I would, you know, put the cube up here on the spoon, pour the liquor over it, which is even messier than what I just did, and then you'd light it on fire. There's a nice little flame. I don't do that. I just drop the thing in there, let it soak up real good. It'll break up on its own here in a minute. So what you are supposed to do with absinthe is you want to loosh it. You don't shoot absinthe straight unless you're just like an uncultured swine or like a straight up hardcore alcoholic. So nothing against my straight up hardcore alcoholics or my uncultured swine, but it just seems like a waste to just shoot this straight when it has so much better flavor and complexity when you properly loosh it. So the cube is already disintegrating. Just what we want. Alright, cool. Awesome. We're going to set that to the side right there. Alright, so now what I will do is so the proportions of water to absinthe, it's more preference than anything. A lot of people will put 1 ounce of absinthe in the glass and then they'll kind of just fill the rest of it with water. What they will also do is they will typically drip the cold, this is cold water by the way, they will typically drip the cold water in slowly to allow it to properly loosh the absinthe and the aromatics come out and it clouds and whatnot. You can do it that way, but I don't have an absinthe fountain and I never have. So I just commit the blasphemy of just pouring it right in there. So right now we're at about half and half. So if you want to go a little bit more dilute, because this is pretty strong stuff. It's like 62% alcohol. It's like 120 proof. So we'll do like 2 ounces absinthe to 3-ish ounces cold water, and we're just going to mix that up really good. It's not a slow louche, but you can see it louche the absinthe pretty well, right? Not a slow drip louche, but it's fine for our purposes. Now, this is something that I actually saw for the first time at a bar called Potions in New Orleans. And Potions is a story unto itself. But they did something to absinthe that I've never seen before. And they put ice in their absinthe. Now, granted, it's New Orleans, and it's hot as hell most of the time. And it was hot as hell when I was down there in, like, the early spring. But I can see the wisdom in putting ice in your absinthe, because that's one of the reasons why we use cold water, is to louche it, but also to make it cold, right? Personally, I find cold absinthe much more enjoyable than warm absinthe. So I have started putting ice in my absinthe, and you can call me a blasphemer, you can call me whatever you want, but I like it. So just using the spoon to kind of work that around a little bit in there. And then we end up with this nice little louched glass, the sugar cube in it to cut the bitterness, and ice cubes in there to, contribute to the water balance and also to cool it off. So let's try this. And yeah, that's absinthe. It tastes just like anything that I've ever had at an absinthe bar, whether it's Memphis, Tennessee, New Orleans, Louisiana, anywhere else, sitting at home, doesn't matter. It tastes just like anything that I've ever had, whether they lit the cube on fire or not before they dropped it in there, whether they used a fountain to louche it. It tastes the same to me. Maybe my palate's not that developed, but it tastes the same to me as all of the traditional preparation methods. So this has become kind of my go-to. Just absinthe, sugar cube, drop some water in it, mix it all up, add some ice on top, and you are good to go. No fire hazards, no having to have expensive glassware around for just dripping water into your absinthe. It doesn't really get much simpler than this, guys. So hopefully you enjoyed this weird little mixology blog video thing that I've attempted here. Let me know in the comments if you like this kind of thing, because I have way more than just this Lucid that we've just used all of. Like I've got a little bit of a collection of this kind of stuff. So if you want me to do like absinthe reviews or something like that, I can maybe swing that if there's interest in it. But just bear in mind, this being my preferred method, you're probably not going to see a lot of fireworks or anything. If you want to see somebody light a sugar cube on fire, I'm sure there's 1,000 videos of that on YouTube somewhere. But me personally, especially after you've had a couple of these, if you're preparing them for yourself, it's not necessarily a smart thing to be playing with alcohol and lighters once you're, a couple in. But be safe, like and subscribe, leave a comment if you want to. If you hung out with me this long, I very much appreciate it, and I will see you all next time.